Welcome to the United Way Difference, a program that discusses Oshkosh community needs and how local nonprofit agencies are supporting people in our area. United Way's focus in the areas of income, education, health, and volunteerism helps to build a stronger, more caring, and compassionate community. The United Way Difference is brought to you by the Oshkosh Area United Way.
Hi, and welcome to the United Way Difference. My guests today are Elizabeth Greshel, I forgot the R, Greshel, and Sue Pomplin. Today we're going to be talking about transportation and how transportation can have a positive or a negative impact on people living in or achieving self-sufficiency, living in poverty or achieving self-sufficiency. So recently in a New York Times article, the article was entitled "Transportation Emerges as Crucial to Escaping Poverty." It said that the impact of transportation on social mobility is stronger than several other factors, such as crime, elementary school test scores, or the percentage of two-parent families in a community. And those are, in many cases, the indicators of whether or not families can be successful or they might end up in poverty. So moving ahead, what we'd like to be able to talk about is what are some of the barriers to getting good transportation, affordable transportation, accessible transportation, and what are some of the more apparent barriers and what are some of those hidden barriers that we might not think about? So my guests today are Liz, and Sue, and Elizabeth is the staff attorney for legal action of Wisconsin at the Oshkosh office, and Sue is the Work on Wheels, I love it, coordinator for ADVOCAP, both here in Oshkosh. So before we get started on the whole transportation issue, can we just talk a little bit about your agencies first and what you do and why you might be involved ultimately? It'll kind of come out in the program, why you're involved in any issues related to transportation. So Elizabeth, how about if you go first?
Sure. Legal Action is a non-profit, obviously, since we're on your show today. We are a law firm. We do consider ourselves to be a law firm, but we're a nonprofit law firm, meaning that we serve low-income clients. So there are some eligibility things that we'll talk about later in the show. And
but when you say law, you represent people. Is it for criminal cases?
No, we do not serve in criminal cases. We do civil legal service. So the types of issues that we handle are obviously driver's license recovery, which is something we'll talk about later. Public benefits like food share, Badger Care, Social Security disability. If someone wants to appeal a decision related to one of those topics, that's something that we do assist with. We also assist with unemployment compensation. We assist, one of our major areas is housing law, so related to evictions from public or private housing, or terminations of subsidized housing, and some other areas of law, but no criminal.
Okay.
But lots of other areas, so people do have civil legal issues, they should contact our office to see if we can help them.
Okay, now we're talking about the Oshkosh office, but your organization is what, statewide?
We are on the lower half of Wisconsin because in the northern part of Wisconsin Judicare handles this same type of thing, helping low-income clients in the civil legal area. We have offices in Green Bay, Oshkosh, Milwaukee, Madison, and La Crosse, and Racine. So we have a bunch of different satellite offices, and each office covers a number of counties. So we cover 10 counties, which is obviously anyone in the viewing area.
Right, and you have a small staff.
We do, yeah. There are 4 staff attorneys and 1 managing attorney in our office. We're actually gaining another attorney.
Congratulations.
Thank you. We are starting we're expanding our elder benefits project. Or elder abuse project. So elders who are suffering but may have legal issues associated with the abuse that they're suffering from. We're looking forward to starting to help those people in. I think the program is kicking off January 1st because the attorneys are coming in, getting trained, figuring out what that program is going to focus
Okay,
on.
and if we have time at the end of the program, let's talk about the Southeast Asian Paralegal Project.
Oh, sure.
Okay? Sue, let's talk about ADVOCAP and a little bit. I mean, I know that you're sort of like you're the poverty agency.
We are. We are. ADVOCAP helps people that, to help themselves get out of poverty. And our mission is to create opportunities for people and communities to reduce poverty and to increase self-sufficiency. And that is done through just a multitude of programs: weatherization, job searches, financial literacy. One of the fun, newer things is to get involved in some of these programs, because what we're finding is people really don't know what's out there.
Okay.
They can have a barrier, excuse me, they can have a problem, and maybe they heard about it a year ago, but it didn't affect them at the time, and they don't remember it. You can come to ADVOCAP, or they don't remember where there's help for
Right.
it. You can come to ADVOCAP, you can contact the PASS program, and the PASS program can refer you to the Hub. And the Hub is a collaboration of 25 nonprofit and government agencies in the greater Oshkosh area, and they're all working together to help households achieve self-sufficiency through several different things: goal setting, coaching, bundling services together, taking an individual, helping them see where they want to be in the end, and walking beside them to get there.
Okay. And that is about the participants setting their own goals and getting. So it's not like a prescriptive thing.
No, where we tell you, you have to do this, you have to do this, you
It's
have
not like that.
No.
Okay.
No. They're setting their own goals, and we help them see that they can achieve those goals, and they can achieve them through small steps.
Okay.
So we don't want it to become overwhelming, but we want to support them.
So why is transportation? I mean, we hear it all the time. Transportation is one of the key issues to help people get out of poverty or to become more self-sufficient. And why is that? Why? I mean, you think it might be something else.
So if you're elderly and you're shut in and you can't get out to socialize, I can see that. I can see that you're elderly. I can see that you need some help. If you're disabled, I can see that. If you are, economically challenged and you need help, I can't see that.
Yeah, you just don't know.
You just don't know. So there are not a lot of places to go or opportunities. Oshkosh has a great transit system. It works within the city. It works from certain hours to hours. But if you're working third shift outside the city, you cannot get home at 11 o'clock, nor can you get to work at 11 o'clock. So jobs out there, the low-skilled jobs, there is no transportation to those.
But even if you live on the south side of town and you work on the north side of town, second or third shift, you could get to work, but you can't get home.
You can't get home.
And the third shift, you can't get to work
right.
through the transit system, but you could get home.
Right. You could get home, but you can't get to work.
Yeah.
And really, we're not in New York. So, where I'll hear tell them to take the bus, put more money in the bus. Think of how much money you would have to put
Right.
into a it's just not
For
even.
limited ridership.
Right. It's not even
I mean,
feasible.
I know that they're really trying to beef up the ridership, but again,
They're doing awesome.
it can't be 24/7 in
Right.
a community of our size.
Right. And I think Go Transit is a very good system that's put some other things together. And we talked a little bit about distance when we're talking about that, going to the outskirts. Or
Yeah, these are these would be your pretty apparent transportation barriers, right?
Right. And then, beyond that, we'll have people that will, the distance, coordinating the timing. A mother with 2 children that has to get to work at 8 o'clock on the bus, drop one at daycare, on the bus, get one to school, on the bus, get to work. It just becomes overwhelming and almost impossible for them.
I can't imagine then try to go grocery shopping.
Right? And if you take a cab, you're limited to how much you can buy while you're at the grocery store.
Or how much you can pay,
Right.
depending on where the grocery store is. And that's something that's an issue that we see with a lot of our clients is this decision making is a part of it, where me as a person who can drive, I can go to the store, I can go to work whenever I need to, or if I need to pick up my niece or nephew, I could just go. But if you have to depend on a bus system, or if you have to worry about when a taxi is going to pick you up, can you afford that? Is it going to work with everyone's schedule? You have to make all of these decisions, and some days it might be, I'm not going to get the kids to school on time and get to work on time. I have to choose. And then all of a sudden you're stuck with one of the decisions not benefiting you either. Could lose your job or your kids could be truant, and neither of those things are good for our clients.
We did a survey and found out that if your transportation doesn't show up or you can't get to work that day, people are more likely to tell an employer, my child is sick, because they think that's a more acceptable thing than to say, I can't get there, because then they're afraid their employer thinks that they won't be able to get there the next day and the next day.
Right.
And there's some
should everyone
solutions.
really own a car? I mean, I looked on the list that we had up there earlier, and it said the cost of repairs and general vehicle maintenance. Is car ownership right for everybody?
No, there is no program that's right for everybody. We just talked about busing. That's not right for everybody. Carpooling, that's not right. Owning a car, no. It is, it's one of those things that owning a car is more than the monthly payment and the insurance.
Right.
Cost of insurance, one of the hidden, I don't know if we're talking about this, is people losing their driver's license.
Oh, okay. And why would they do that? For a traffic violation or for?
For traffic violations. There is, do we have those statistics up there? Or no? Well, I can tell you off here. The most common way people lose their driver's license in Wisconsin is not for OWI or an unsafe driving. It's for failure to pay a fine on a ticket for a non-moving violation.
Right, and just this year, January to June of 2016, failure to pay a forfeiture made up over 50% of the revocations or suspensions of driver's licenses. So meaning someone's taillight was out, they got a ticket for that they needed to pay. They didn't pay it for whatever reason.
Well, first they have to get the taillight fixed.
Right. But they get the ticket, they need to get the taillight fixed, they need to pay the ticket. For whatever reason they don't, and because they don't, then they get a year suspension of their license.
So even if then you pay the ticket, do they unsuspend your license?
Yes.
Okay.
If you paid the ticket, then you would have to get your license reinstated. So I think that you'd have to pay a fee to do that. So there'd be another fee.
So this snowballs.
It does snowball, yeah.
It does. Now, interestingly enough, in Wisconsin, if you get caught, picked up for drinking and driving for your first time, you'll lose your license for 9 months.
Okay.
If,
Okay, so that you're drinking and driving, you get stopped.
First offense.
9 months, you lose your license.
There you go.
Okay.
For hit and run, it's a year.
Okay, so you've hit somebody, you've left the scene, whether it's a person or a car, it's a hit and run. You only get a year.
Yes.
So 9 months for DWI, 1 year for hit and run. How much for?
If you don't pay a ticket, 2 year suspension.
Okay, there's something wrong there.
And if you think about this, so you are making $10 an hour.
Okay.
You have children, you have rent, you have everything, and you get this $200 ticket. And you have to decide if you're going to pay your rent or if you're going to pay the ticket.
Can you pay anything on the ticket, or you have to pay the whole ticket?
You can pay on the ticket, but if something, you have to set up a payment plan. If something happens and you
Which means you need to go to court.
Yes, you have to go to court.
Oh, so it's
So-
not as easy as just sitting up calling them
Oh,
up.
no,
Right,
no. And people that have never been to court before, they're scared.
Yeah.
So a lot of times they just don't go. I mean, they know they've done whatever. If you set something up and you miss a payment, you're done. You have to pay it all.
Okay. So it just blows me away that you can do potential harm with those other two issues, whether it's DWI or the hit and run. but for just not paying a fine, you get 2 years
And
suspension.
I do think that was recently changed for adults to 1 year. For juveniles, it is still 2 years.
okay.
But we're still looking at 1 year, which is the most that of the time frames
right.
that she
Right.
just talked about.
Well, we're going to go to a break, and when we come back from that break, we're going to talk specifically about the Funds for Fines program and the driver's
License recovery program.
driver's license recovery program. I was going to say renewal program, and I knew that was wrong. Stay tuned for the rest of our program.
It's not a charity, it's more than a charity. It's about helping people we live with. It's about being the type of person that the 6-year-old version of ourselves wanted us to be. It's about community and looking out for one another. It's about money, yes, but it's so much more than money. It's about friendship and common values. It's about opening doors when others are slammed shut. It's about giving kids a place to be kids and growing up knowing they live in a community that cares about them. It's about making sure that everyone gets to see the dentist, because we want to make sure that they have every last tooth in those smiles. Ultimately, that's it. It's about the smiles, old smiles and new smiles. It's about us, all of us, our community living united, because great things happen when we live united. Will you join us?
Hi, and welcome back to the program. My guests are Liz Greshel, and she's with Legal Action of Wisconsin, and Sue Pomplin, who is the Work and Wheels Coordinator for ADVOCAP. We're talking about transportation and how that has a negative or sometimes a positive impact on people getting to a level of self-sufficiency. Before we went to break, we were talking about some of the fines that people get for DWI, for hit and run, and for not paying a fine. A forfeiture of the fine. So, and Sue, you had mentioned that it was 9 months for a DWI.
Yes.
It was a year suspension for a hit and run.
Right.
And it was a year suspension for adults for failure to pay the fine.
And 2 years for you.
And 2 years for young people. Okay. And the snowball effect of not being able to pay the fine because you're having to decide whether or not to pay for the food on the table or the rent or the mortgage or those kinds of things, and how that then continues to snowball into even paying more money.
Right, because then you've got another decision. You've lost your license.
Oh God, how do
You
you get
have
to
a
work?
job.
Do you
How do you
keep
get to
driving?
work? Do you
Yeah.
keep driving?
Oh, and so you keep driving, you get picked up again, now you've got another one.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. So how does this funds for fines work? This is such a hard one for you to say. You said tongue twister, and I was really good for about funds for fines. You
There
have a
you go.
program about funds for fines. How does that work?
We do have a Funds for Fines program, and this is a program that helps individuals when they get that first ticket. And the Funds for Fines program is a loan program, and it's there, all right. And one of the things that we found is that people like to be part of the solution to their problem. So it's a loan program. You have to be employed.
Okay.
You have to be working a minimum of 20 hours a week. You have to need your vehicle for work.
Or you also said, or attending post-secondary school.
Post-secondary
Okay.
school also. And school, you have to be going to school. You have to be working. And we will lend you up to $550. And the $550 would be your ticket pretty much that got them revoked is going to be about $200. The ticket you just got for driving while they were revoked is another $200. And the $100 or so that it costs to get your license back again.
Okay, because you said there's a fee for getting your license
you have to pay
reinstated.
to get it reinstated. These payments are made back to ADVOCAP, and the payments are about $20 a month. It's a
Okay.
0% interest loan. So it helps the individuals who have lost their license, still need to get to work or get to school. get their license back so they can drive legally.
And again, the key to this, though, is it cannot be for criminal reasons. Any kind of criminal behavior, or you can't get this
No.
loan if it was for DWI.
No,
correct?
this funding comes from a local church.
Okay.
All right, and so no DWI, hit and run, drinking and driving into the side of a building, no criminal activity.
Okay. Okay. So, and how would somebody access this fund?
They can call me. What I do is send them out an application. They send me back evidence of the tickets they owe, and then we go from there.
Okay.
So by contacting me at ADVOCAP.
And at the end of the program, we will have a link on the website that will tell you how to contact ADVOCAP and get in touch with Sue. I think we might even have your phone number on there. So, Liz, now you have a program which is the Driver's License Recovery Program.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I was going to say replacement recovery program.
Not
So, how
quite.
does that program work? And that's new here in Oshkosh, right?
Right. In the Oshkosh office, this is a new program. It stems from our Milwaukee office. Our Milwaukee office has a driver's license recovery program that's connected with, I think it's one of the colleges in Milwaukee.
Okay.
And where this comes from is that it became clear that having licenses suspended is a clear issue. And because it's a clear issue, in order to get it resolved, usually some legal action has to be taken. What I found from the last few months, we started in Oshkosh in August, and I've had one big case, where the clients come in and he's had a lot of tickets, and we have had to look through his driving record and say, okay, where can we go from here? And what I've learned is that it's a total uphill battle for people who have more than one ticket. A lot of times, like we've been talking about here, the tickets are for some kind of payment issue, so they're not able to pay a ticket. And then, like we said, it just snowballs from there, and their license is suspended, but they keep driving because they need to, and all of a sudden, like the person that we're seeing here, they've got, I think, 11 different ticket
Holy
situations that may involve, like Sue was talking about, tickets that are $200 each. And the person is low income, meaning that they're probably receiving about $700 a month for everything, for their food, for their rent. And so you can see how that would create some major issues and major trouble for the person just trying to get their license back, and that's where we try to step in and help.
Right. So I know that it was up earlier, and I'm going to ask that we put that back up again. What are the criteria or the eligibility for your program?
Sure. So they have to meet legal action of Wisconsin Inc.'s eligibility criteria, which means that, and there's another point, under 200% of the federal poverty level. Legal action eligibility criteria also includes, we have an asset.
Well, okay, can I ask you this
Sure.
question? We always throw that number around, 100% of poverty, it's federal poverty level, the 200%. What, for a family of four, would you know what that is?
Well,
I think for a family of four, 100% of poverty is like $24,800. So,
so are we talking, do you want to know for a family of four?
well, whatever you got there would be just fine.
For a family of four, I think we're maybe looking at about $30,000 for an
Okay.
annual income, which would be about $2,500 for monthly. But I'm not exactly sure. Usually when the person comes in, they just give us their information. And if they aren't eligible, we just say, I'm sorry, you're not eligible. We don't really go into too many specifics.
Can they call your office to find out if they're eligible even before they come down?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah. They can call us over the phone, or they can come in. The first step is always the eligibility screening,
Okay.
where we'll check the income, we'll check their assets to see how much money they have. We did have someone come in once seeking our services who had like 4 muscle cars and a lot of funds in the bank. So we wouldn't.
Because you really want to target your services to
Right,
have can't
absolutely.
afford legal services.
Right,
Where other
right.
people can afford it, they should pay for it.
Right.
Okay.
Right. And then we do have some other things to determine whether we take a case, like where our caseload is at, and other things like that. In addition to that, for this driver's license recovery program, We're not looking for people kind of like Sue's program who have OWIs. We're not doing anything related to drinking tickets, anything like that.
So is it DWI or OWI? Are they two different things?
We see it both ways.
Yeah,
Oh,
I
okay.
think that it might be two different
Okay.
things, but I'm not positive.
And can it be any kind of license, driver's license?
We're really specifically looking at regular driver's licenses in our offices. So you're just a regular driver. We're not looking at an occupational license or a CDL license. We're not looking at that.
And I never knew this, but a regular driver's license is a Class D.
Right. Yep,
Okay,
a
I
Class
never
D
knew
driver's
that.
license. Yeah. Right. So that's what we're looking at. Right now, we're working in Winnebago County. I'm hoping to see that expand pretty soon because we do want to be helping as many people as we can.
And so again, so if somebody would need the help, they contact your office, they go through eligibility screening first, and then what happens?
If they are eligible, then what happens is they'll either talk to me or the other attorney in our office who is working on this project. And there really isn't too much to say at the beginning unless, if for some reason you want to fight the ticket, that would be a different issue. But if you have the tickets, you're not really fighting them, you just know you have them, we'll go get your driving record. And your driving record will tell us most of the information that we need to know. What types of tickets, how much you owe, why is your driver's license suspended. And I should say that within our office, we're doing driver's license suspensions and revocations, or if you don't even have your driver's license, so maybe, your parents or your family couldn't help you pay for the driving class. So you actually never got your driver's license. But you know what? You have to make a living, so you don't have your license, you go to work, you drive to work, and then you get a ticket for not having a driver's license. We'll also help people who have the ability to get their license suspended or revoked. There just has to be the current suspension or revocation involved. If you get one ticket, we don't help defend that. Again, we don't do criminal issues. We don't defend on just one ticket.
Okay. So we've got the fines for funds.
Funds for fines.
I'll get the funds for fines where you can help with a no interest loan, or we can go to legal action to have you help get that license recovered.
Right.
Okay. Now, what other programs do we have that relate to transportation? I know I introduced you as the Work and Wheels coordinator. So let's get to Work and Wheels.
ADVOCAP does have a fabulous program, the Work and Wheels program, and that's a program that helps individuals who are working qualify for a 0% interest loan in order to purchase a vehicle for work-related needs. Also, for repairs, we have a 0% interest repair loan. They can, I know we're running out of time, and I think one big point that I want to get across is how important transportation is. For the Work and Wheels program, you can contact ADVOCAP. I want to tell you about a young lady, Amber, when she first came to the Work and Wheels program.
Yeah, let's have some success here.
All right. She was working as a CNA. She had 3 young children. She was making $10 an hour. She did qualify for a loan. We were able to hook her up through a program similar to Hub with an education. She went on to get her CNA. Amber is now making $18.75 an hour. She has employment, health insurance. In August, she will become an RN and she'll be making $24.59 an hour. That's what transportation can do versus not being able to even get to work.
Okay, and unfortunately, we're not going to be able to talk about the success of your program yet because you're just new.
We are new.
So I'll end this with thanking you for both being here and to let you know that up on the screen pretty soon will be how to contact both Liz and Sue. You can contact ADVOCAP at, that's the one on the bottom, for the Funds for Fines program. And you can also talk to Legal Action for the Driver's License Recovery Program. Thank you both for being here. This is interesting information, and you can always contact the Oshkosh Area United Way as well. If for some reason you say, oh, I can't remember all that other stuff, just call me at the United Way office. And thank you for watching our program, and thank you again for being here.
Sue.
Thank you.
You thought we'd run out of things?